Assalamu alaikum dear students, this is Kamar Sumaira again from the Department of English, University of Southern Punjab. We are going to continue our previous lecture, that is the use of grammatical devices in our text. In stylistics, the use of nouns, adjectives and verbs is central to how meaning and effect are shaped in both literary and non-literary texts. So, it means how the words can be used to identify the author's intent as well as his desire to pursue its or his meaning into the text. Their functions, however, differ depending on the purpose of the text. So, in literary texts, nouns are often selected not only for their referential value, but also for their symbolic and imaginative effect to be created or some force to be created. So, Wordsworth's phrase, let us say for example, a host of daffodils, a host of golden daffodils uses the noun host metaphorically, elevating flowers into a majestic gathering. But stop, is it only a metaphor? No, the noun daffodils has become or creating an everlasting concrete effect as a host for all the visitors who will visit it. Similarly, abstract nouns like love, death or freedom serve to express universal themes. It does mean that they all become eternal when they are used through the use of imageries and symbols to be created along with them. So, it means grammatical devices are not all in all, like adjectives in literature frequently carry emotive or evaluative value or weight, but they need to be figurative in their category as well. As Dickens says, a dreary, foggy, suffocating London, it creates mood and atmosphere, while Keats' sweet music highlights sensory appeal. It does mean the use of the adjectives have a deeper sense on the reader's mind to be created that lasts forever. So, in literature, the use of adjectives and verbs are not all in all, they are dynamic and create some imagery, like the verbs that creates vivid and dynamic imagery on the reader's mind. They often convey not just action, but emotional energy. Energy in a sense through the use of action verbs. Wordsworth, my heart leaps up, shows how a verb can intensify personal response and highlight the speaker's relationship with nature. How the heart brings some affection and some attachment with the object, like nature, which is concrete, which has made concrete through the use of metaphors. By contrast, non-literary texts rely on these words classes for clarity, precision and factual communication. So, actually we are reading today that how these word categories would affect your literary and non-literary texts. For example, nouns in journalism or reports, such as when we use the word prime minister, policy or hostel or hospital, are concrete and unambiguous. There is no reason that we should not understand the meaning of these words. But when we use the adjectives, which are usually functional, classifying rather than beautifying, they become functional rather than beautifying or modifying your text. For example, economic reforms or acidic solution, the words would become to categorize or qualitative, that what kind of quality that noun would have. Verbs in non-literary context tend to be neutral and reportive or action, as I said, such as announced, measured, government announced, the prices are measured, the statements are recorded. So, these are all focusing on the accuracy rather than emotional resonance in our advertisements. Why? Yes, to bring actions in the audience as well. So, stylistically, the difference lies in the function and the effect of the words that are created in the text, in any text for which it is being created. Literary texts use nouns, adjectives and verbs for imagery, symbolism, for bringing metaphors into reality and emotional engagement, whereas non-literary texts employ all these words to inform, classify and maintain precision. So, it means it gives the quality or quantity, it modifies the words for which they are being used. For example, prepositions connect your object with the remaining part of the sentence, or might be which we call the object of the preposition. It highlights how language choices shape not only meaning, but also the reader's aesthetic and cognitive response. For which reason? That you memorize the word if they are precisely and in a concrete form written, definitely they would affect on your emotional as well as on your cognition. If someone asks a question, can nouns and other parts of speech be calculated? And what is their stylistic importance to be quantified? Will you be answered? Stay here and think for a while. What is the effect on your mind if you quantify the nouns? The answer is absolutely yes, that we can quantify them, we can calculate them. Modern stylistics often uses quantitative methods, sometimes we also call it Cooper's stylistics, to calculate the frequency of nouns, and we have discussed it in the branches of stylistics as well, that you may use the or you may find out the frequency of the words like the nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs and other parts of speech in a text for bringing out or to explore the quality of the text. This is done through linguistic software tools like Conc, we have Wordsmith, we have simple POS taggers, that is parts of speech taggers software as well. So, it means it is not like as a human being you are calculating the words, it is only possible when the number of words or the text is very little in its measurement. By counting how many times certain word classes occur, stylisticians can identify patterns of lexical density. Lexical density, how many words are created and for which reason it is created, for how many nouns, how many adverbs, how many verbs are used. Grammatical style, it means the sentence structure, and yes, author's preference, very important, that for which reason someone has used it. So, as an example, a text with a high proportion of nouns may suggest concrete, objective and descriptive in its focus. No, many proper nouns would definitely bring your all text into a concrete form. For example, the objects and the naming of all those objects will be remembered by you as a reader. Wordsworth poetry with more material nouns and adjectives as compared to verbs to reframe and abstract idea of nature into a concrete one is another example of it. That if he could not have brought all the abstract ideas into reality, the concreteness of the nature could not be created. A text with many adjectives often indicates evaluative, emotive or ornamental style, which is common in romantic poetry. We see it in Shelley's poems, we see it sensuous poetry in the form of use of senses that has again made concrete in Keats' poetry. A text with more verbs, especially dynamic verbs, shows actions, movement or narrative drive. So, if these all devices are there for the reason that these are just there for creating some effect and to bring some conscious in your author's style, it definitely means that we have something to quantify, we have something to memorize about some author's intent, and the words would be definitely effective on the reader's mind. These all grammatical categories, same is the case with the articles. If we talk about the articles, we have the articles in the form of determiners. In syntactic level, we will discuss it for sure in depth, that articles being specified and non-specified would be there, so that as a specifier or non-specifier, like what we call proper articles, which are the, which is represented by the, and the other articles which are common like a and an before a common noun. So, commonality and proper specification has also been developed by the writer by the use of adjectives. Same is the case with the use of prepositions. Simple prepositions, your compound prepositions would be there to create an effect that how complex the phrases or the sentences have been developed by the writer, or what is the ability or the skill of a writer or an author or the speaker to bring the connectivity in the text by the use of correct use of prepositions. Another device that is very common and much observed is use of conjunctions. Conjunctions are also simple, coordinate and complex. Simple conjunctions are used like and, but, also. These are all for the reason that they have been used for creating compound sentences or the words to be identified like black and white to bring the contrast of the two words and to make them representative as the two distinctive objects or the two distinctive ideas, or likewise the compound ones like the use of either with or, neither with nor, not only but also these are all about your what? Yes, paired conjunctions are there, and the conjunctions which develops our complex sentences because, and likewise cause and effect have been created through the use of complex conjunctions. So, these all categories are just there to define that what kind of text has been created by the writer and what would be the effect of all these words to memorize and to bring the desired effect from the audience. The very important device which is above all these word categories is the use of punctuation. In the pipeline the same things have been defined with a feature that these are not the semiotic features, but these are the some of the features which create some effect for the reader where to stop the reading and what idea should be stopped for which reason. The commas, the full stop, the punctuation marks like interjections for creating feelings and emotions in the text. These are all the signposts that brings the meaning and quality to the text at grammatical level. So, above word level we have also our signposts in our writing as punctuation. What is there in our oral discourse or in our oral speech other than punctuation? Can you identify? Yes, it is none other than the use of extra linguistic features, like I have just given the pause in between my words so that you may answer, so that you may think. These are your extra linguistic features that is created by the use of pauses, by the use of stress for pronunciation style and the high and low form of your pitch of sound. So, this is what how the loudness, the pitch contributes to your extra linguistic features in a speech. So, for writing we have another parameter to define, and for sure for spoken skill we have another parameter. For writing we have punctuation, for spoken we have definitely extra linguistic features to be identified of a speaker. So, although it is not grammatical, but it brings some kind of meaning into a text when we use it in our speech. That speech can be written or oral, we know it very well. Well, this is all about a short discussion about the written and the spoken discourses with respect to the grammaticality of the text, not only at word level, but also to the phrasal and clausal level, which would be extended to our next debate as well at the syntactic level. So, this is all about our today's discussion, and this is all about your debate on the use of grammatical features in our given text. We will be having a debate in depth from sentence to phrase level in our upcoming lecture. Till then, have patience, eat healthy food, stay blessed, have a nice day.